So I had a hat on earlier today, and then it rained, and my hat got rained on, and so it's wet, so I had to take it off. But I have hat hair, so I'm apologizing for my hat hair. I watched these movies earlier this morning, but my internet wasn't working, and I had to go to an ice cream festival. This is how I got rained on. Ice cream is always worth rain, by the way. It was good. So now I'm going to review these films that I watched this morning before the ice cream festival. And then when I'm done, I'm going to watch some Ronald Colman films. But I started the day with Joel McCrea. And not just any Joel McCrea, but early 30s pre-code Joel McCrea. I've seen almost all of his pre-code films at this point. These were a handful that I had missed. And thankfully, we on TCM showed them earlier this week, so I got to catch up on them. The first one is The Silver Horde, which is based on a novel, and it was actually filmed in Alaska. And the Silver Horde is actually salmon. So the story is that Joel McCrea is in the Alaskan wilderness trying to make his money out there as a gold panner, and he finds himself in the middle of a scuffle, and he's saved from being killed by these rough dudes by Evelyn Brent. Unbeknownst to Evelyn Brent, but known by the dudes he's with, unbeknownst to Joel McCrea, but to the dudes that he's with, they know that Evelyn Brent is a notorious prostitute. But they don't say anything, and Evelyn Brent treats them like a lady, and like gentlemen, and she's a lady, and they eat food, and it's great. And she is like, hey, if you're not doing well as a silver gold panner, let's be a salmon farmer. And so she's like, here's a dude that I know, I can help you get set up. So he goes back to Seattle to get set up with this financier, and to see his lady friend, played by Jean Arthur. But unbeknownst to him, the man who loves Jean Arthur is this notorious gangster dude who the other guys were talking about earlier, and obviously everyone gets all entangled together, and Evelyn Brent has to do some prostituting and some blackmail, and Joel McCrea is like, oh my god, you got money as a prostitute, and Jean Arthur's like, how could you get money from a prostitute? And there's a lot of issues about Evelyn Brent being a prostitute, but in the end, because this is a pre-code film and you don't have to be punished for prostitution, you realize that Jean Arthur is a fair weather friend, and Evelyn Brent is the strong, solid rock of a woman, and they're going to be salmon farmer kings together. The part that I thought was the most interesting was the stuff in the salmon farm that was filmed in Alaska. It feels like an informational film, but it's so beautifully shot that I really enjoyed it. And I was like, more fish on film. Fish are so beautiful, and the way they filmed the fish sort of swimming was gorgeous. So this is a strange, weird pre-code shot on location in Alaska, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, I definitely recommend it. And Joel McCrea looks beautiful because it's from 1930, so he's peak at his beautiful. And I think this was his second film as a lead, so that's interesting. The next film was just strange as all get up. This was called Rockabye from 1932. It has a really strange history. I highly recommend reading precode.com's review of this film. They really pointed out, Danny Reed, he writes those reviews, he really pointed out all of the craziness of this movie and its issues as production-wise. Basically, it was very rushed because they wanted a new Constance Bennett film because she was the biggest box office draw at that point. You can tell that it feels rushed. You can tell that the director, Kapoor, didn't direct most of it. He came in to do a patch-up job. The tone is all over the place. The story is really strange. It's based on a play by Lucia Bonder, and it's just very weird. Constance Bennett plays a musical stage star who is testifying against her ex-lover, who is an embezzler, who they may have had a child together, and she's trying to adopt. But because she has got her name splashed all over the papers, the agency won't let her adopt this child. She then goes to, and then the guy dies, and you're like, oh shit. And then she goes to Europe with her alcoholic mother and tries to get over it. And while there, meets a playwright, played by Joel McCrea, who's written a play that sounds shockingly like her story. And so she's determined to star in this film, even though her manager, played by Paul Lucas, is like, I don't think you should do this. I don't think this is the movie to launch your dramatic career with. And a lot of other weird shenanigans happen, including like waking up in a room full of balloons, because having a balloon is apparently like her dream. There's a lot of weird off-color jokes. The fact that she's sort of torn between Joel McCrea and Paul Lucas, you're like, who is ever like thinking about Paul Lucas when Joel McCrea's in the room? And to Danny Reed's review, he says something like, Paul Lucas, a great example of not the right actor, at least for this film. And I always feel like Paul Lucas is always not the right actor, so he's not one of my favorites. So this is a strange, not that great film, but it has beautiful costumes. So if you're in it for like those lovely bias cut dresses, like you'll enjoy that. And I do like Constance Bennett. I think she's a really great screen presence. It's always strange that she really thrived in the pre-code time, and then Joan Bennett, her sister, really thrived in the like 40s. But you know. So then the third film I watched was 1933's Chance at Heaven. And this one is just, you want to slap Joel McCrea's face through this entire movie. So he has been engaged to Ginger Rogers for 2 years, and her parents are like, dude, you need to get married. Like, what is he waiting for? And Ginger's like, he's not ready, and I'm not going to marry someone until he's ready. And then he's an idiot, okay? He's an idiot. That's why he's not ready. So then he gets swept off his feet by this ditzy debutante that's on vacation that like almost literally runs into his gas station. And he's like, kind of a well-to-do businessman. He owns the gas station. He's saving money. He owns a house. Like, he's ready to get married, and he should be marrying Ginger, who has done all the things that at that time a woman should do to prepare to get married. She knows how to make him his favorite dishes. Like, she knows how to do house chores. She's her own woman on top of all of that. She's very strong. And the other woman, played by Marion Nixon, like, has had everything done for her. So she doesn't know how to do anything but flirt. And then she ends up with this guy, and then, spoiler alert, they get married. Clearly, this is not going to be good for both Ginger Rogers and the other woman's rich parents, who are like, you married a guy who owns a gas station? Like, what? And so the rest of the film is like dealing with the aftermath of this stupid rash decision by these two people who don't know what they've just done. And it's one of those movies where it ends and you're like, Ginger Rogers deserves so much better than this idiot dude. But it has an interesting crew in that the music is by Max Steiner, so it's got some moments that are really swelling and beautiful, and it was shot by Nicholas Muscara, who was one of the great cinematographers from the noir era, and so there's some shots that are just gorgeous. It was an RKO film, and he did a lot of those great RKO noirs, and it's just as they get deeper and deeper into like bad decisions and just he just makes all these stupid decisions. Like they say, like, don't follow your dick. It's like that kind of thing where you're like, stop following your dick and like stay with the plans you made. They were good plans. But then you're like, did he ever really love the Ginger Rogers character? Why would Ginger take him back? Like, there's this whole lot that don't make sense and make me feel terrible for the Rogers character, where I'm like, you need to find yourself a man who can commit himself to you without accidentally like getting into a bad marriage first. Oh, and because it's super pre-code, there is probably, slight spoiler alert, probably an abortion happens in this movie. They sort of hint at it, but like, pretty sure an abortion happened in this movie. So this is very, like, there's a lot of racy stuff that happens in this, and if you're a fan of that kind of like racy pre-code, but also are interested in watching a movie that's going to make you want to punch Joel McCrea in the face the whole time, I recommend this film. So it also has a great cooking scene where Ginger Rogers makes a chicken pie. So if you ever want to learn how to make a chicken pie, you can, she really makes a pie. These were interesting, and I'm a completist, so someday I'm going to sit through all his Westerns as well. But you can watch these on Watch TCM for another couple of days, and I think some of them, they're probably all from Warner Archive collection as well because they're that RKO era that they have the rights to. So you might be able to get them on DVD as well or rent them. That was, what was it? The first one. The Silver Horde, Rockabye, and Chance at Heaven, all starring super hot young Joel McCrea. If you're a Joel McCrea fan, I recommend all three of them. Whether they're great films or not, I don't know.